What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and always, I'm joined by Shannon.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to Tuesday's episode. So please continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are our topics, Wednesdays our discussion, and then Fridays we talk about everything else, non-cybersecurity related, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So you hear us just talk about craziness. Definitely continue to share with your friends. So again, we're going to be moving platforms, so we should hopefully be able to gain a bigger audience, but that shouldn't change anything for you. So continue to leave us your feedback, your comments, all that good stuff. Without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This article's from CSO Online, and it's actually written by Michael Hill. And the title of this one is "Businesses Detect Cyber Attacks Faster Despite Increasingly Sophisticated Adversaries." Detection times and ransomware attacks are down, but adversaries remain sophisticated, adaptable, persistent, and creative. So we kind of hit on this. It was a few weeks back, I want to say. I was talking about this, about how, the criminals getting smarter, right? And I was not aware until I read this article that it was actually down, right? So the attack dwell times is what they call them, right? Which is dropped. And there's an M-Trends 2023. It's like a report that comes out that talks about all those, right? That about all the things that are happening for the year, right? So in the one for 2023, they talk about trending incident response metrics, the invasion of Ukraine, right? That's a popular thing, right? And there was a lot of cyber related things that went on with that. Financial operations in North Korea, attackers shifting focus and applying uncommon techniques, right? Because they got to get better, right? So like they do something, we figure it out. They got to figure out how to get back in there and get those ill-gotten gains, right? That's what they do. Red team findings from a cloud-focused engagement, right? So like everything is going cloud specific now, right? So this is one of those things where the cloud game being what it is, that is the new target for everybody, right? So everybody wants to be in the cloud, right? You have your different hosted environments, you know what I mean, that are becoming targets, because that's what everybody is going to, right? Like it's easier for you, as a customer to be in there, so you're kind of making it easier for them to attack it as well, right? Putting everything in one place like that. Attacker campaigns and global event intelligence they talk about in this report. Threat group graduation for APT-42, which was Iranian based. I want to make sure Iranian state sponsored cyber espionage group, right? So they talk about them as well, right? So what they talk about here, the global median dwell time for internally detected incidents in 2022 was 13 days, which was 5 fewer than the previous year, right? So distribution continues to improve. 42% of intrusions were detected within a week or less in 2022, which was compared to 37% in 2021. So they're getting better at detecting these attacks as they start happening, right? So they're not going as far, right? Which is a good thing, right? So if you detect it sooner, you minimize the damage that's happening as well, right? So people get in there, excuse me, people get in there, they could be in there for 3 weeks, I say back in the day, but I'm talking like 3 years ago, you know what I mean? Like that's not really back in the day, but like people could be in there for an extended amount of time and you don't know what's going on, right? So that time is getting shorter and shorter, and that's a good thing, right? The median dwell time for intrusions investigated in the Americas decreased by a week in 2022 to 10 days, which was 17 days in 2021, right? So you're already at 2.5 weeks before you're figuring out something is going on. So now one of the things they talked about in this report is a decrease in the percentage of global intrusions involving ransomware between 2021 and 2022, right? So it dropped from 23% to 18%, which is a good thing, right? Like it's trending in a good direction. So, but yes, it's not over. So this is saying that things are getting better, but not that you should just relax your guard, right? Like now it's not the time to relax and be like, okay, well, it says we're getting better, so I guess we're good. We're at a good state here where everything can just stay calm, right? We could just keep to this level. No, because what's going to happen, right? Same thing we talked about before is they're just going to get better at what they do, right? They're going to find different ways to go in and do these things. Technology is always changing, right? I remember there was the old adage, like when it comes to technology, whatever you buy in 6 months, it's already out of date, right? Like, yeah, that may have been the case a few years ago, but it's way sooner than that now, right? Like it's just how it is, just the way things are moving going forward. So this report showing that things are getting better. I mean, it gives you a little glimmer of hope. Like, okay, it's not as bad as it seems, right? Because every week we're on here telling you about some ransomware or some type of cybersecurity attack or whatever, right? Like, it's what we do, right? I mean, I'm glad to do it, but it's like law enforcement. I'm pretty sure there comes a day where they're like, hopefully, there's no need for us, right? But that's just I don't think it's ever going to happen, right? There will always be people that want to do things that they're not supposed to. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. But point being, we are getting better, right? So it, it's something that we always want to happen, and we just hope just keeps going in that direction, because that's my fear. My fear is that we are going to settle on our laurels, right? We're just going to sit down and be like, all right, yeah, we're good, and then boom, that spike is going to start going up again, right? God forbid we have another pandemic, right, to where people are working from home more and doing things like that, because we're just going to slip back into those old habits. You know what I mean? I don't think we're going to learn those lessons. But what's your take on this, Ryan?
Yeah, same. You love to see it. So that was the focus a few years back, was like, okay, we have to make sure that we have to work on these dwell times. Like we have to work on the APTs, like people just being in there, siphon information, and then progressively escalating the privileges and getting more stuff, causing more damage. So that was a heavy focus. Now you can see the reduction in time. However, like you said, there's that ebb and flow. So okay, you've caught us quicker. We're not able to make that whatever cause the disruption, make the money, etc. So now we have to pivot and we have to attack more frequently. And we talked about that before as well as the FBI and Department of Justice getting better at tracking cryptocurrencies and recovering that money. So now there's been more attacks because now they have to, like, the bad guys have a bottom line as well, because they're organized criminals, right? So they are built similar to corporations, which is crazy to me, with their own justice system. And we've talked about it in the past as well. So now we become more efficient, they have to become more efficient, and vice versa. And I think with the rise of AI, it's just going to be an arms race. Like it's going to continue to creep up and become faster as we're able to utilize it to better defend, and they're able to utilize it to better attack. So I think that there will be an arms race. And what you mentioned, I believe that's Moore's law, right? With the products. I get, what is it? I think it's broken down to the number of transistors doubles like every 6 months or something like that, and it's becoming faster and faster. So things are becoming more efficient and more obsolete quicker because of it. So I think that's Moore's law, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the same thing can be attributed to the attacks and defense. It's going to be the same. Like again, efficiency. Like we're going to become more efficient, they're going to become more efficient, and then it's going to keep going bouncing back and forth. But I think what is also good to take away from this article is that I think it leads into things that because of the dwell times coming down and people becoming more efficient, I think it'll ease the friction point of cyber insurance and things of that nature, right? Because now you can show that the industry is trending in a better direction. Maybe those premiums can come down. Because remember, we talked about, I think it was either an insurance company or a bank that got hit, and their insurance company would not pay out. They were like, no, like you didn't do your due diligence. So not only did you lose this money, but you're not going to get any compensation to recoup. And I think that's becoming a trend out there as well, right? Like if you're not doing your due diligence, then you're not going to be protected either through federal means or through private insurers and things of that nature. And that comes down to assessments, right? Your SOC 2s, your CIS V8s, your NIST CSFs. Like these things are necessary not only for federal regulation, but also to provide you a proven track record when you do want to either acquire new customers, because they have vendor assessments and questionnaires and things of that nature. If you don't pass muster, you can't become part of the you can't partner, you can't provide services. I think the same thing is coming from CMMC 2.0 and FedRAMP, right? Like you can't provide the government certain services if you can't answer the questionnaire to say when's the last time you had a either self-attestation or you had a third party coming in and inspect you. So I think all these things are kind of tying into one another. So that's what's making people better at finding these threats and things of that nature, because of all of the regulation coming down, the GBLAs and all that good stuff. Like there's a lot of federal pressure on either companies that provide critical infrastructure or the financial sector. Now schools, I know a lot of schools that take federal loans are being considered under the GBLA. So that way they will have to comply as well, just like a banking institution would. So there's going to be a lot more of those institutions needing to be assessed and needing to beef up their cybersecurity teams and things of that nature. So like it's good, right? Like usually people are like, oh, big government stepping in. Like, no, it seems to be going in a good positive direction, right? Like the pressure is causing these companies to have to do more to protect your stuff. And as you can see, now they're getting better at finding those threats before they can become damaging to you and the rest of their customers. So I think it's working out. But again, like then you'll see things you've never seen before, like with Korea doing the supply chain attack into a supply chain check, right? They have to become wittier to get that stuff they need nefariously, right? Need to be able to fight against the sanctions, things of that nature, to get that bad money in order to buy whatever they need to buy, to do whatever they need to do out there. And the same thing's going to be done by ransomware gangs. So both state sponsored and the private ransomware gangs, I guess you would call them, are stepping up their game in order to try to defeat some of these mechanisms. So it's going to continue to be an arms race. So hopefully the recent wave of layoffs doesn't cause this trend to go the opposite direction, right? You have less people, so it's more work on the backs of other people that are still with the company. So hopefully there isn't too much on their shoulders that's going to cause them to not be as good at what they're doing. Because as you can see, the trend has been going in a positive manner. So I did a lot of rambling there. Hopefully some of that made sense.
It was good. It all made sense. It was good.
Hopefully you tied together. But definitely continue to tune into the podcast. To hit us up. Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday's discussion, and then Friday's everything else. So we talk about movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us on the social medias that go by our name. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and Twitter. Stay safe, stay secure.